For years, DJI has been in a race: bigger sensors, bigger batteries, heavier frames, more folding arms, more pro branding. Every year the same formula: more weight, more price, more specs. And then they did something completely different. Instead of making the next big drone, they made it smaller, 151 grams, and somehow they put LiDAR, omnidirectional sensing, 4K high frame rate recording, eye tracking into something that weighs less than your phone and priced it like a toy. That's not normal product evolution, that's strategy. The Neo 2 isn't just another lightweight drone. It might be DJI's smartest move ever, because for the first time, DJI didn't try to win on sensor size, they tried to eliminate friction, and that changes everything. Let's talk about the most insane part first: LiDAR on a 151 gram drone. That alone should not exist. LiDAR isn't just another sensor. It doesn't just see obstacles, it maps depth in real time. It understands distance with precision that normal monocular systems can't. Like on bigger drones? Sure. On a 151 gram social drone? That's bold. And what DJI did here is actually very clever. Instead of stuffing it with heavy multi-directional hardware like the Air or Mavic series, they optimized forward LiDAR, vision sensors, AI processing, minimal hardware, maximum intelligence. This is not brute force engineering. This is efficient engineering. And in real-world use, it's shockingly capable, tracking through trees, flying indoors, navigating tight paths. And here's what's interesting: on paper, Mini 3 and Mini 4 had obstacle sensing too, but they were cautious. They felt like drones that detected obstacles, where the Neo 2 feels like it understands them. You know, there's a difference. It doesn't hesitate the same way. It adjusts, it adapts, it flows. And that's because DJI wasn't just upgrading sensors, they were experimenting with intelligence per gram. Now let's talk about something people underestimate: weight. 151 grams is not just a number, it's psychological freedom. Under 250 grams in many regions, you avoid heavy regulation, less paperwork, less anxiety, less "what if I lose it?" less "is this legal here?" That matters. And even beyond legality, it changes how you use it. A 249 gram Mini still feels like equipment. You pack it, you plan for it, you unfold it carefully. The Neo 2, you throw it in your jacket or literally toss it in the air. That changes usage behavior. And this is something people don't talk about enough. The best drone isn't the one with the best specs, it's the one you actually fly. And because the Neo 2 removes setup time, removes controller dependency, removes weight anxiety, removes complexity, you use it more. That alone makes it strategically powerful. And here's where DJI made a genius decision. They didn't try to make a mini killer, they made a new category, not a smaller Mini, not a cheaper Air, a frictionless camera drone. That's very different. Now here's where things get really interesting, because on paper, the Mini 5 Pro is better. Bigger sensor, better low light, longer flight time, more traditional Pro features. The Air series, even more powerful. The Mavic line, obviously superior. So why are so many people flying the Neo 2 more? This is where spec sheets lose the argument, because drones don't compete on specs anymore. They compete on friction. The drone you actually bring. Let's be honest. How many times have you left your bigger drone at home because you didn't want to? Carry the controller, charge multiple batteries, and unfold arms, wait for GPS lock, look like you're setting up surveillance equipment exactly. Now, compare that to Neo 2. You take it out, press a button, or use gestures or voice. Toss it in the air, and you're filming. No RC2 boot up, no phone mounting, no cable connection dance, no waiting. That's a massive difference. And for social creators, travel vloggers, cyclists, even casual professionals, that speed matters more than dynamic range, because moments don't wait for drones to connect, like the zero controller workflow. This might be the most underrated part of Neo 2. You don't need a controller. Let that sink in. For 90% of use cases, you don't need one. Built-in screen, physical buttons, smart modes, voice control, gesture control. That's not a gimmick, that's workflow redesign. DJI basically asked, what if the drone worked like an action camera? Instead of, what if we shrink a professional drone? Completely different philosophy. You can get a 4K 60 FPS shot, fully stabilized, AI tracked, without ever opening a controller case. And that changes who buys it. It's no longer, do I want to operate a drone? It becomes, do I want cool footage? That's a huge psychological shift. The invisible camera effect. There's another layer here most reviewers ignore: perception. When you fly a Mavic, people notice. It sounds serious. It looks serious. It feels serious. Sometimes even intimidating. Neo 2, it looks like a flying action cam. It doesn't trigger the same reaction. It doesn't scream aerial surveillance device. And because it's tiny, people don't react to it the same way. That makes it socially easier to use. And social comfort is a real barrier for drone adoption. DJI reduced that too. Again, friction removed. Why? Some pro users are quietly switching. Now let's address something controversial. I've seen comments saying, I own a Mini 5 Pro, but I use Neo 2 more. And that sounds crazy at first. Until you think about it, if you're a pro, you already have your main rig. Your Mavic, your Inspire, your cinema setup. You don't need the Neo 2 to replace those. You need it to complement them. For quick scouting, for behind the scenes, for social clips, for fast FPV style tracking shots, for risky tight spaces, you wouldn't risk a bigger drone in. And here's the key. Because it's 151 grams, you're less scared of crashing it. That freedom encourages creativity, and creativity beats perfection. And let's talk about tracking. The original Neo. Tracking was decent. Neo 2, 12 meters per second, that's real speed. That means mountain biking, running, cycling, urban movement. This is no longer just a walking selfie drone. Yeah, it keeps up. And when combined with LiDAR and intelligent sensing, it becomes something else. A tiny autonomous camera. And at this point, you have to ask, how is this $259? Because historically, this level of tracking and obstacle intelligence belonged to much more expensive drones. DJI didn't just shrink hardware. They redistributed intelligence. We're not even at the strategy part yet. And already you can see the pattern. Less setup, less intimidation, less regulation, less fear, less friction, more usage, more spontaneity, more creativity. By the way, the strip lights you are seeing in the video are sent by VFly. If you're interested in buying them, I will drop the link in the description. It looks really cool at night. Now let's talk about the part that honestly makes no sense for the price. 4K high frame rates in a 151 gram drone. We're not talking about basic 4K 30. We're talking about high frame rate 4K that lets you slow moments down and still keep detail. And here's why that matters, because Neo 2 isn't designed for tripod cinematic sunsets. It's designed for motion, cycling, running, urban exploring, action clips, and high frame rate 4K on something this small means you can capture movement smoothly and slow it down without destroying the image. That used to be reserved for serious drones. Now it's in something you can throw in the air. Again, intelligence per gram. Let's address something that most drone users have accepted for years. Drones sound terrible. You get beautiful footage and unusable audio. DJI solved that in the smartest way possible. Instead of trying to magically silence propellers, they bypass the problem. The Neo 2 records audio from your phone or external mic and syncs it automatically with the footage. Perfectly. No manual waveform matching, no editing headache, no guesswork. That sounds small. It's not. Because for social creators, vloggers, travelers, good audio matters more than 10-bit color, and DJI understood that. They weren't designing this drone for pixel peepers, they were designing it for creators, and that distinction is important. Now here's the part that makes this DJI's smartest move. They cannibalized themselves. They knew this would eat into Mini sales. They knew some people would choose Neo 2 over Mini 5 Pro, and they did it anyway. Why? Because DJI understands something the market is slowly realizing. The future of drones isn't just better cameras, it's smarter drones, smaller drones, more autonomous drones, less intimidating drones, and if DJI didn't build this category, someone else would. So instead of protecting the Mini lineup, they created a new entry point. A drone your grandmother can fly with gestures, a kid can launch without a controller, a pro can use for tight cine hoop style tracking. One device, multiple user levels, that's market capture, and it's clever. And yes, there are trade-offs. Of course the battery isn't perfect. Of course the sensor isn't Mini 5 level. Of course it won't replace a Mavic for commercial shoots. But that's not the argument. The argument is this. The Neo 2 isn't trying to be the best drone DJI's ever made. It's trying to be the most usable drone they've ever made. And that's a completely different competition. Think about this. 5 years ago, drone reviews were about sensor size, bitrate, dynamic range, flight time. Now it's about AI tracking, obstacle intelligence, ease of launch, social workflow, portability, speed of deployment. Neo 2 represents that shift more than any other DJI drone. It feels less like operating equipment and more like extending your hand, and when technology starts to feel invisible, that's when it becomes powerful. So is the Neo 2 perfect? No, but that's not why it's important. It's important because it proves DJI can compress serious intelligence into something this small. It proves the future doesn't have to be heavier to be better, and it proves that removing friction might matter more than adding specs. If you're waiting for the next Mavic to change your life, you might be looking in the wrong direction, because the real shift is already here, and it weighs 151 grams. I have several other videos about DJI Neo 2 on my channel that you might want to check out if you are planning to buy a DJI Neo 2 or already own one. Tell me in the comments which feature do you like the most about DJI Neo 2 and what would you like more. This is it for today, and I will see you in the next one.